let's talk about what's really going on behind the wheel of your Uber or Lyft. For years, we've heard it's the ultimate freedom gig, but for a whole lot of drivers, that dream is starting to feel more like a trap. Today, we're going to dive into a quiet rebellion that's brewing, where drivers are literally rewriting the rules and building their own little empires, one ride at a time. This quote, this is what it really comes down to for so many. It's from a guy who goes by Nice Guy Driver. He just left a 10-year retail job where he felt totally disrespected, completely overworked. He jumped into rideshare thinking it was his big escape, a chance to finally be his own boss. But as we're about to see, he kind of just traded one set of problems for a brand new one. And that's what kicked off his whole journey to take back control. So that really begs the question, right? Is the whole promise of the gig economy starting to fall apart for the very people who make it run? In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why so many drivers are feeling the squeeze, what they're actually doing about it, and how a completely different model is rising up from all that frustration. And that brings us right to the heart of it, the driver's dilemma. See, for a lot of these folks, the choice isn't between some amazing career and a rideshare gig. It's usually a choice between two pretty tough situations, the awful job they just escaped and a gig that feels more and more broken every single day. Let's take a look at what that trade-off actually feels like. So on the one hand, you've got that regular job, like the one Nice Guy Driver left. We're talking disrespectful managers, zero flexibility with your hours, feeling like you can't grow. But then, on the other hand, you have the rideshare gig. It gives you that taste of freedom, sure, but it comes at a massive cost. We're talking serious wear and tear on your car, which is your car, and a feeling that the partnership with the big apps is getting really, really one-sided. Okay, so a lack of freedom is one thing. But let's be real, for most drivers, it all comes down to the money. What started out feeling like a pretty fair partnership has morphed into a huge paycheck problem. Let's dig into the numbers and see how this great pay squeeze is actually playing out. Now, this is really interesting because it's all about the driver's perception of what's happening to their earnings. If you go back to 2018, drivers felt like they were getting a decent cut, maybe 60% of the fare. Fast forward to today, and that feeling has just plummeted. Now they feel like they're lucky to get 30 or 40%. The pie is the same size, but their slice just keeps getting smaller and smaller. And this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. Let's imagine a $100 ride. The passenger pays the full $100. But after the platform takes its huge slice and all the fees, the driver, the person actually doing the work, using their car, paying for gas, they might only see $30 or $40 of that. That split just doesn't feel sustainable. And get this, some drivers are saying that in some cases, the platforms can take as much as 70% of what a passenger pays. 70! When you're the one doing all the work, seeing nearly 3/4 of the money just vanish before it even gets to you, well, that is a tough pill to swallow. And it's that intense financial pressure that's pushing so many to find another way. So when you squeeze people this hard, what happens? They push back. And that's exactly what we're seeing, the rise of a driver-first alternative. A whole new model is popping up that completely flips the script. It asks a really simple question. What if the platform worked for the driver instead of the other way around? Let's put these two models side by side, because the difference is night and day. With the old commission model, the platform takes a big cut of every single ride. But with this new subscription model from companies like Hum, drivers just pay a flat monthly fee. That's it. And in return, they keep 100% of every single fare. The whole power dynamic shifts. The driver isn't a gig worker anymore. They're the customer. And here's where the rubber meets the road. One driver shared this exact example with us. It was a ride where the passenger paid about $50. On one of the big apps, after they took their 60% cut, he would have pocketed maybe $20. But on a subscription or private model, he keeps the entire $50. The difference is just staggering. It's more than double the money for the exact same trip. So what is this Hum company? The name actually stands for Here You Matter, and it's a platform built to give drivers the two big things they need to go out on their own: proper commercial insurance and the technology to manage their own book of private clients. And they do all that while the driver keeps every single dollar they earn from their fares. In this quote right here from the founder of Hume, Chris Cole, this is the whole philosophy in a nutshell. He's convinced that the entire rideshare experience, for everyone, starts to fall apart the second you stop prioritizing the driver. So his solution was to build a company where the driver is truly the center of the universe. But here's the thing. You can't just flip a switch on a new app and expect everything to change. This new way of doing things requires a totally different mindset. This is the moment where drivers stop being gig workers and start becoming entrepreneurs. They go from being drivers to being deal makers. They're not just passively waiting for rides anymore. They're actively building a business. Let's get into the playbook they're using. So, how are they actually doing it? Well, it's a pretty slick 5-step play. A driver will accept a ride on an app like Lyft, which often shows the full destination address. They immediately take a screenshot of it. Then, they turn to the passenger and negotiate a fair price for a direct ride, cutting out the middleman. They get paid right then and there through Venmo or a Cash App, cancel the official ride, and just use their screenshot to navigate. Just like that, they've turned the platform's customer into their customer. And the smartest drivers, they don't stop there. No way. They start thinking like real business owners. They log every single new client in their phone, and this is the key part. They make a note of where they got them. Was it a conversion from an Uber ride? From Lyft? A pickup at the airport? This is all data, and it lets them see what's actually working so they can focus their efforts, just like any savvy entrepreneur would. And this quote, man, this just says it all, doesn't it? It comes from a driver and creator who goes by the Mic Drop Barbecue. It's about that huge mental shift. You have to stop being reactive, just waiting around for the apps to throw you these little scraps. You have to be proactive and go out and build something that you actually own and control. And all of this proactive hustle, it's not just about making a better living this week. It's about playing the long game. For the really ambitious drivers, the future is private. We're talking about building your own fleet, a real sustainable transportation business that can last for years to come. We're talking about a complete transformation here. The end goal is to go from being just another independent contractor for some big tech company to being the CEO of your very own transportation company. And once you make that leap, the doors just fly open. You can start negotiating delivery contracts with local flower shops or bakeries. You can set up a proper LLC, build business credit, and use that to finance more vehicles for your fleet. You can even hire other drivers to work for you. You can branch out into specialized areas like medical transport. You're not just driving anymore, you're building a real asset. You can really see the evolution here, can't you? What starts today as a regular rideshare driver can, in just a year, become 100% private business. In 5 years, maybe you're a small fleet owner. And then, looking out to 2030, who knows? Maybe you're an operator of automated vehicles. You're not getting replaced by the technology, you're positioning yourself to own the technology. And that really brings us to the final big question. With self-driving cars just over the horizon, a technology that could, let's face it, make the individual driver obsolete, this whole shift isn't just about making more money. It's about survival. Is taking control, going private, and building your own transportation company the only way for today's drivers to make sure they still own a piece of tomorrow's road? It's definitely something to think about.